Can we willfully control our emotions? Chapter 1. The Myth of the Switch. There's a romantic idea that emotions are wild animals and willpower is a whip that if you're tough enough, disciplined enough, you can snap your feelings into line on command. It's a tempting picture. It's also wrong. Emotions are not intruders to be banished. They are data, messengers, ancient signals wrapped around modern lives. And willpower, when it comes to emotions, is less a whip than a steering wheel. You don't command the storm to stop. You learn how to sail. So the question isn't, can I force myself to feel something different right now? As if joy were a light switch, anger, a faucet. The right question is, can I influence what I feel, when I feel it, how strongly I feel it, and what I do with it? That question has a more hopeful answer. Yes. With practice, with a few reliable tools, with a different understanding of how emotion works in the body and mind, you can learn to steer. This is a book about that steering. Picture a barista in a city that wakes before the sun. He's moving with quiet choreography. Tamp, twist, steam, pour. His phone vibrates. A message flashes the landlord raising rent by 30%. In an instant, his chest tightens, breath shortens, jaw locks. He still has to serve the line. He cannot flip a switch and stop feeling angry and afraid. What he can do is steer, plant his feet, lengthen his exhale as he wipes the steam wand, label the feeling this is fear, this is anger, and slide his attention back to the next cup. Over the next 5 minutes, he doesn't abolish the storm raging inside. He changes its shape. He does not drown, he swims. Emotional control, willful control rarely looks like magic. It looks like small levers. The length of an exhale, the angle of a thought, the direction of your gaze, the story you tell yourself, the amount of light in a room, the food in your belly, the words you choose. None of these levers are dramatic on their own, but together they are engineering. And engineering is how you build a bridge over a river you cannot drain. Let's define terms. Emotions are rapid, whole-body predictions about the meaning of what's happening and what to do next. They are not just ideas in the head. They are changes in posture, heart rate, micro-tension in the hands and face. They are actions or preparations for action wrapped in meaning. Feelings are the subjective flavors of those states, the taste of sadness, the heat of rage, the lift of relief. Mood is the background weather system, slower and more diffuse. Control lives in different timescales. In the first milliseconds to seconds, the body reacts the spark in the amygdala, the surge of alertness. You don't decide whether the match lights. But within a few seconds, attention can choose where to aim. At the thought that pours gasoline. Or at the thought that adds sand. In the following minutes, you can recruit breathing, posture, and words tools that alter the body budget of emotion. Lower arousal, slow the heart's drumbeat, change the meaning carved onto the moment. Over hours and days, routines sculpt the emotional landscape. Sleep debt amplifies threat. Food that crashes insulin can make you brittle. Movement opens a window that admits more light. Relationships are co-regulators, people who calm us or stir us. Over months and years, beliefs and habits form the climate itself. The stories you tell about who you are, what the world is like, what others intend. Those stories become the pattern the weather follows. We cannot choose whether clouds exist. We can choose the kind of sails we sow, the ports we build, the routes we trust. That is willful control. A myth worth dropping. Control equals suppression. Push it down. Pretend it's not there. Smile harder. This is like locking a barking dog in the basement. The noise doesn't stop. It gets muffled and mean. And when the door opens later, the animal bolts twice as wild. Suppression costs energy and often rebounds. Naming and redirecting, on the other hand, is judo. Feel the weight and use it to move. Another myth. You must be calm before you act. Often, it is action that brings calm. The body teaches the mind. The same barista who lengthens his breath doesn't wait for peace to pour. He pours while he finds a steadier breath. Motion creates emotion. A third myth. Mastery means monotone. People who manage emotions well do not live in flat lines. They feel fully but briefly. They metabolize experience, extracting nutrients and letting go of what they cannot use. Like athletes, they spike and recover. The measure is not whether you get triggered but how you repair. If willful control is steering, what are the instruments on your panel? Breath as a lever. The breath is the only system in your body that is both automatic and voluntary. Lengthen your exhale, and the heart follows. Try this now. Inhale through the nose for 4 counts, exhale through the mouth for 6 to 8, 5 rounds. Notice the ground under your feet. If you can't slow the mind, slow the breath. It will pull the mind along like a tow rope. Labeling as a lever. Putting feelings into words is not poetry. It's circuitry. This is anger. This is grief. This is excitement mixed with fear. 2 or 3 words, not an essay. Naming shifts experience from being inside the emotion to being the one observing it. The distance is small but decisive. From within, the wave is everything. From the shore, you can see where to swim. Attention as a lever. Attention is a flashlight in a dark room. Where you aim, it changes what reality feels like. You do not deny the monster in the corner. You widen the beam to include the door, the friend, the hand you can hold. If anxiety is a narrow corridor, attention is a window you can open on purpose. Meaning as a lever, reappraisal. The same sensation can be labeled panic or readiness. The heart pounding before a speech can be proof that you are in danger or evidence that your body is priming you to perform. The story you hang on a sensation transforms its chemistry. You cannot lie to yourself convincingly, but you can choose a true frame. This matters. My body is helping. I can carry this. Posture and movement as a lever. Stick your chest forward and clench your fists, and surprise, you'll feel angrier. Drop your shoulders, soften your gaze, unhook your jaw, your body will inform your feeling. A brisk 10-minute walk can do what 100 thoughts cannot. Environment as a lever. Light temperature in the room. Noise. The chair you sit in. Text on a screen. These are not trivial. They are the scaffolding under feeling. Turn off the news ticker. Step outside. Pour water. Emotions often change when the world does. Other people as a lever. Co-regulation is not codependence. The nervous systems of 2 people in a room hum to each other's pitch. If you want steadiness, borrow it. If a friend calls you in panic, don't start with a plan, start with presence. Your calm is medicine. V. Let's try a field test. You are in a car, traffic frozen, late for an interview. Your chest is buzzing hornet loud, palms slick, mind sprinting ahead to the email you will write to apologize. The dashboard clock seems to laugh. You cannot become serene by decree. But you can do this. Reach for the breath. In through the nose for 4. Out through the mouth for 8. Like blowing through a straw. 5 rounds. As you exhale, say silently. Long. Label it. Anxiety. Frustration. Not, I am a failure. The words are about the state, not your identity. Reframe. I'm energized because this matters. I can perform well even when my heart is fast. I'll start the interview, acknowledging the delay and thanking them for patience. That honesty builds trust. Move what you can. Roll your shoulders. Press your feet into the floor. Look at a far building to widen your gaze. Plan the first sentence. Write it down. Thank you for waiting, traffic froze. I'm grateful for your time. Crafting language turns panic into action. Choose the next controllable thing. Don't fight the road. Choose the moment you will call. Choose the tone you will use. Choose one kindness you will offer yourself after the meeting: water, a short walk, a breath outside. By the time the lane creeps forward, the world hasn't changed. You have. You didn't flip a switch. You pulled levers. The storm didn't stop. You sailed anyway. VI. Consider Maya, a high school violinist with stage fright so potent that her fingers felt electrically charged. Too fast, too clumsy. Her teacher asked her to practice not the sonata but the feeling of walking on stage. She spent 2 weeks rehearsing in a small empty auditorium, arriving early to sit in an aisle seat and breathe. Stepping onto the stage and naming the waves. Fear, pride, love for the music. Standing in silence for 15 seconds, letting her body learn that silence is not death. Smiling at the empty balcony and whispering, I want to share something beautiful. Starting the first phrase only after her jaw softened. She wasn't trying to force serenity. She was building familiarity. I know this feeling. I have survived it. On the night of the recital, nothing mystical happened. The first bar buzzed with heat. Her heart was too loud. But she had anchors. The second phrase arrived and she remembered. Jaw. A small looseness rippled down her neck. On the third phrase, she widened her gaze to the back wall. She finished with 2 wrong notes and an audience standing anyway. Not because she defeated fear, but because she played inside it. Willful control isn't domination, it's choreography. VI. A different case. A paramedic named Raphael, 20 years in the field, steady hands, terrible sleep. When summer wildfires came, anger became his constant companion, a sharpness toward co-workers, impatience with his kids. He tried to clamp down on it. The lid rattled. His supervisor suggested something inelegant and effective, a 30-second ritual before each call. Step 1, a shake literally, hands out, loose, 3 big whole-body shakes, like shedding water, then a sigh. Step 2, ask a narrow question. What is the first helpful thing? Not the whole story, not justice for the world. The first helpful thing. Step 3. After the call, 3 notes on a card. What went well? What was hard? What I need? No paragraphs, just 3 lines. The ritual didn't remove the anger. It gave it a container. Like martial artists bowing before and after the match, he marked the edges. Over weeks, the ritual changed him. He noticed that his worst shifts came after 2 nights of poor sleep. He started defending a bedtime the way he defended a patient. He noticed that his anger was often grief in a uniform. He sat with that grief for 5 minutes on Sunday afternoons. A cup of coffee beside him. A photo of the first patient he lost in a wallet. He began to let the sadness say its piece before it bullied the house. There's nothing soft in this. It is the courage to feel on purpose. VIE. Willful control is also vocabulary. Most people have only a handful of emotion words, like primary colors smeared together: mad, sad, glad, stressed. When you add shades, irritated, resentful, indignant, outraged, you add handles. I'm irritated suggests a different action than I'm outraged. I'm restless invites different remedies than I'm anxious. The brain uses words to carve reality into usable pieces. The more precise your words, the more precise your steering. Try a simple practice. Once a day, pick the closest word for what you feel. Then pick the second word. Often the second word is the one with the key. I'm anxious and curious. I'm angry and hurt. Feeling 2 things at once is not a bug. It's the truth. When you make room for the second word, the first loosens its chokehold. Ix. Of course there are limits. Trauma can push the nervous system into states where the levers we've named feel out of reach. Grief can make the world dim for long seasons, no matter your breath count. There is no virtue in pretending that technique alone replaces care, therapy, or medicine. Willpower exists within biology and history. No one earns their feelings. No one deserves their storms. The point isn't to deny the ocean. It's to carry a better boat and to ask for a lighthouse when you need one. A myth less discussed is the myth of solitude, that you must master yourself alone in a room. Sometimes, the most willful act you can take is to text a friend. Do you have 10 minutes to just sit on the phone with me? Shared quiet is not weakness. It is a tool. X. Let's zoom in on a micro protocol I've taught to athletes, executives, parents, teenagers with first heartbreaks, and grandfathers who haven't cried in 20 years. It's called the 5 A's. Acknowledge. Something is happening. Don't analyze yet. Don't grade it. Put your hand on your chest or your forearm to remind your body that a person is here with it. Ask, what is this? If it had a name, what would it be? 2 words, maximum. Air. 2 long exhales, each at least twice as long as the inhale. If you can, add a tiny pause at the bottom of the exhale. No drama, just air. Align. Given what matters to me here, what kind of person do I want to be in the next 5 minutes? Not always. Just next 5 minutes. Pick a single verb. Listen, protect, speak, wait, ask, leave, act. Take the smallest action that matches the verb. If the verb is listen, put your phone face down. If it's protect, step between the toddler and the street. If it's ask, start with, can you help me understand? The 5 A's don't remove the storm. They give it rails. And though small, they're intensely willful. You choose to name rather than deny, breathe rather than brace, align rather than flail, act rather than ruminate. Control isn't a feeling. It's a series of choices. See. Maybe you're wondering, but what about happiness? Can I will myself to feel joy? Here the steering is subtle. You can invite joy. You cannot demand it. You can make space where it likes to land. You can put your shoulders where laughter can find them by releasing your jaw. You can prime your attention to notice one golden detail in a dull room, the rectangle of sunlight on the floor, the curve of a coffee mug. You can play the music that makes your chest move. You can text a memory to a friend. These are invitations, not commands. And yet, over time, invitations become home. The brain is a prediction machine. It learns the rooms where joy lives and visits more often. Gratitude practice is one of those invitations, often misunderstood as forced cheerfulness. Real gratitude is not declaring that everything is fine. It is locating one specific good thing inside a complicated day and letting that good thing matter. The water was cold on my face, and it woke me. My friend used my name in a way that made me feel seen. The soup was warm. This is not performance, it's training attention to widen where fear narrows it. Sigh. Anger deserves its own chapter, but here is a sketch. Anger is the feeling of violated boundaries married to the energy to repair them. It is often righteousness with heat. Willful control of anger doesn't mean snuffing out the flame. It means putting it to work without burning the house down. 3 steps help. Body first. If your heart rate is over the threshold where the prefrontal cortex begins to dim, you are not in a condition to choose words well. Walk. Breathe. Splash cool water on your face, count backward by sevens while tapping your thumb to each finger. The point isn't to ignore the wrong, it's to earn the capacity to speak about it without making more wrong. Boundary words. Replace character attacks with boundary statements, not, "You are always selfish, but when this happens, I feel word, and I need behavior." It's not therapy speak, it's clear engineering. Time horizons. Ask, what action protects what matters over the next 10 minutes? 10 days? 10 years? The answer is rarely the same for all three. Choosing among them is willful control. CRC. Fear is trickier because it comes with a siren, but fear also obeys physics. The body cannot stay at peak alarm forever. The wave has to crest and fall. If you can ride 60 to 90 seconds without feeding the story, the slope usually begins. People often misunderstand this and feed the alarm with questions that the moment cannot answer. What if I lose everything? What if I fail? A more skillful question is smaller. What is the next true thing? Sometimes the next true thing is, put both feet on the ground. Sometimes it's, email the boss and ask for 15 minutes. Sometimes it's, drink water. The point is not courage as a costume but courage as behavior, doing the next true thing while afraid. Control is not never feeling fear, it's choosing not to be its puppet. XIV. There is also the long, slow work of shaping who you'll be when you're surprised. Habits are how you store decisions you want to make later, when you're too flooded to decide. You build them in peace so that they carry you in chaos. There's nothing exotic about them. Sleep as a technology. Guard it. It is not a luxury, it is emotional armor. 7 to 9 hours for most humans. Darkness in the room, cool temperature, screens away from the bed. You do not debate with rage well at 2 a.m. Food as scaffolding. Stable blood sugar makes for a stable mind. Protein at breakfast is not a moral issue, it's a stabilizing one. Movement as medicine. You don't need a gym to change your chemistry. Push-ups against a wall. 10 squats, a brisk walk around the block. This is not about looking a certain way. It's about giving the body a way to burn the fuel that panic lights. Rituals as rails. Morning pages. A light at the desk you turn on before work. And off when done. The same song on the commute home. Rituals tell your body where you are in the story. People as ports. Identify 3 names of people who steady you. Ask them if you can be on each other's shortlist. Name it so you don't have to invent it in a storm. XV. A moment of honesty. Sometimes the most willful thing you can do is to let yourself feel without fixing. Trying to outthink grief is like trying to unswallow a pill. It only scratches on the way up. The body needs time to metabolize certain experiences. If you've lost someone, you cannot breathe your way back to where they are. But you can breathe your way to where you are. You can sit with the picture on the kitchen table and let the weeping come and stop and come again. You can take a walk with a friend who says nothing. You can light a candle at the same hour each night for a month. You can put love in your calendar in the shape of memory. This too is control, not the petty kind that insists on cheer, but the noble kind that insists on truth. XVI. Now imagine a different kind of control, the quietest of them all. Choosing the narrative about yourself. Not the affirmations taped to a mirror, but the slow engraving of identity. I am the kind of person who escalates. I am the kind of person who endures. I am the kind of person who apologizes quickly. Sane. I am the kind of person who pauses before sending. I am the kind of person who asks for help. Which sentence do you want your mouth to learn? Say it now. Softly. Not because words are incantations, but because identity is the filter that catches choices. If you carry "I pause before sending" as a sentence in your pocket, one day it will trip the finger before the email flies. That trip is willful control, decades in the making, expressed in a single breath. XVI. A final story for this chapter. There's a boxer named Ellis, training for a late career comeback fight he has no right to win. He's lighter than his opponent, older, slower. His coach doesn't promise victory, he promises a nervous system that won't betray him. They work not only on footwork and hooks but on between-round rituals. When the bell rings and Ellis sits, he puts his hands on his knees and stares at a green spot on the corner post for 2 seconds. Then he closes his eyes and exhales for 7 counts. Twice. His coach says exactly 6 words. You know what to do now. On the second exhale, Ellis opens his eyes, sips water, and says his sentence. I stay smart and close. He repeats this habit in every sparring session until it is automatic. On fight night he gets clipped in the second round and the world narrows to a tunnel. He stumbles to the corner and the crowd is a single roar. And then, green post, 2 exhales, 6 words, 1 sentence. The tunnel widens. Just enough. He loses on points but not on dignity. He leaves with a face that still looks like him. Control? He says afterward, laughing, and taps his temple. Control enough. Control enough. That might be the most honest goal. XVII. So can we willfully control our emotions? Not like tyrants over a conquered land. Like gardeners over soil. Like pilots over a course. Like artists over a blank page. We do not choose which clouds arrive, but we can choose a palette, a brush, a stroke. We choose where to stand when the lightning walks down the hill. The rest of this book is practice. The second chapter will not praise endurance for its own sake. It will give you sequences, small, vivid, repeatable sequences you can embed into a day. Scripts for hard conversations. Micro adjustments to use when shame flares. The choreography of a repair after you've shouted at someone you love. How to face down envy without pretending it's inspiration. How to work with the mind's habit of catastrophizing. How to build the kind of faith that isn't a belief but a behavior. The faith that you can meet a feeling without being erased by it. For now, breathe in for 4, out for 8. Name one feeling. Choose a verb for the next 5 minutes. Act on it. You are not the storm. You are the sailor, and you have hands. Chapter 2. The practice of steering. There is a moment every ship's captain knows. A hush between the reading of the instruments and the turning of the wheel. The ocean is what it is. The weather is what it is, and yet, the boat waits for a choice. This chapter is about that hush and the choices that follow. Small, reliable sequences you can carry into rooms that matter. Not slogans, not wishful thinking, choreography. You don't need 100 tools. You need a handful, rehearsed until they become instinct. The stories here are ordinary on purpose. Kitchens, break rooms, parking lots, hallways, text threads. Control enough lives in these places. A morning you can repeat. Before the day begins to demand you, build a square meter of control. Think of it as a pre-flight. Check the smallest ritual with the largest return. Sit or stand somewhere with a door you can see. If you live in a noisy house, the bathroom will do. If you live alone, the kitchen sink, or the side of the bed. Place one hand on your chest, one on your belly. Inhale for 4 counts, exhale for 8. 3 times. Quiet, not dramatic. Whisper a sentence for the day. Not an affirmation about being unstoppable. A direction. Today I aim to listen first. Today I aim to ask for help if I need it. Today I aim to finish one thing. Name a verb to anchor your identity. I keep promises to myself. Picture the hardest likely moment. Not every catastrophe, just the realistic snag. The commute jam. The awkward meeting. Your child refusing to put on shoes. See yourself doing 2 things. Breathing a long exhale and saying your first sentence. That's it. Rehearsal makes the moment familiar. Familiarity makes choice easier. Close the ritual with a behavior that marks the transition. Turn on a lamp, open the blinds, pour water, light a match, and blow it out. Rituals teach the body where the story is. This takes 2 minutes. The day will still surprise you. But you'll have already held a wheel. I find it. The 92-second reset. When a wave hits anger, panic, shame, you have less than 2 minutes before the brain starts layering story upon sensation. Use the 92-second reset to skate through the peak without feeding it. Anchor. Place both feet flat on the floor. Press your big toes into your shoes or the ground. This tiny act returns ownership to the body. Exhale twice as long as you inhale for 6 breaths. If you inhale for 4, exhale for 8. Add a silent cue on the exhale. Down. Label in 2 words. Rising anger. Surge of shame. Not, I am a monster. Not, everything is ruined. 2 words create a handle. Widen the gaze. Without moving your head, let your eyes notice a corner of the room. A horizontal line. Something far. Tunnel vision is alarm's best friend. Wide vision tells the body you are not prey. Choose a verb for the next 3 minutes. Listen, leave, drink, breathe, ask, wait, write. Then do the smallest action that matches. If you can't follow all 5 steps, follow 1. If you can't remember the order, remember the exhale. Like a parachute, this sequence is better practice before you jump. Spend a quiet minute this afternoon rehearsing it, so your hands know where the straps are later. The 3-sentence apology. You shouted, you slammed a door, you sent an email with a shiver of contempt in it. Now shame is trying to convince you to hide, or to write a 6-paragraph confession that makes the other person take care of your feelings. Neither helps. Use the 3-sentence apology. Impact. I spoke to you sharply just now, and I saw you flinch. State what happened, not your intent. Ownership. That's on me. It wasn't okay. No justifications. No, but I was tired. Ticketed problem in day. Repair. I'm committed to doing better. Here's what I'll do next time. And here's what I can do now. Are you open to that? Then offer something concrete. Next time I'll ask for 5 minutes to cool off. Right now I can take a lap and come back. Would you be willing to reset with me in 10? If they aren't ready, respect it. Repair is an invitation, not a demand. Your job is to become someone repairable. EV. The boundary sandwich. Boundaries are not walls, they are doors with door frames. The boundary sandwich has 3 layers. Warmth. Value. I really appreciate our collaboration. And how quickly you move. Boundary need. When messages come after 10 p.m., my sleep and family time suffer. I won't reply to work messages after 9. Offer. Path forward. If something is truly urgent, call me, and I'll return it at 7 a.m. Otherwise, I'll respond by noon the next day. This is willful control in language, clear, kind, enforceable. It protects what matters without attacking the other person's character. V. Panic in public. A field guide. It happens in the aisle of a grocery store. On the metro. At a wedding. You feel the elevator drop. People tell you to calm down. Useless. Do this instead. Lean against a stable surface, a wall, a column, a tree. If nothing's available, plant your feet wider than shoulder width. Let your hands work. Squeeze your left thumb with your right hand for 4 breaths. Switch. Touch your forearms. You're telling your nervous system, I am with you. Count an environment. Find 5 green things, 4 rectangular objects, 3 round objects, 2 sources of light, 1 friendly face or symbol. This interrupts catastrophic loops. Say 1 sentence to someone nearby if you can. I feel a wave of dizziness. I'll be okay if I can stand here a minute. Most strangers want to help. Give them a job. Would you mind just standing near me while I breathe? Exit when possible without shame. You didn't lose. You navigated. Later, if you can, write a short after-action note. Where was I? What helped? What could I try next time? Collect evidence that you can move through waves. VI. Catastrophe rehearsal. The ladder down. The brain is very good at imagining disaster and very bad at finishing the story. The catastrophe rehearsal uses, and then what? To descend from fantasy to ground. Start with the fear. If I mess up this presentation, I'll lose the client. Ask, and then what? We might miss quarterly numbers. And then what? We'll have to cut spending. And then what? I'll have to cancel the office upgrade. Notice where the chain leaves the realm of doom and enters the realm of manageable inconvenience. Then plan actions there. Rehearse the opening sentence. Ask a mentor to listen. Design a follow-up plan in case you stumble. Catastrophic thinking thrives in vagueness. Precision disarms it. VI. Envy to fuel. Envy is a map to desire. Treated badly, it curdles into bitterness. Treated well, it becomes direction. Use the admiration contract. Name who and what. I feel envy towards Sarah's effortless storytelling in meetings. Extract the skill. Not the vague success, but the precise, she speaks in stories. Sadavnau Soza. Design a practice. For the next month, I will start 1 update a week with a 2-sentence story. Ask if Sarah will trade notes with you. Most people like to teach. Bless the source. Thank you, envy, for pointing to a skill I want. Then act. Envy without action is poison. Envy with action is mentorship in disguise. V. The shame ladder. Shame is a trapdoor that loves darkness. Build a ladder you can climb. Name. Shame is here. Say it out loud if you can. Normalize. Humans feel shame when belonging feels threatened. I'm human. Narrow. This is about this email, not my worth. Nudge. Take a small restorative action that doesn't require permission. Drink water. Take a 10-minute walk. Tidy your desk. Text. Are you free for 5 minutes? To a safe person. Narrate. Write 3 sentences in your notebook. Here's what happened. Here's what I wish I'd done. Here's what I'll try next time. Close the notebook. Return to the day. Shame demands spectacle or silence. Offer neither. Offer process. Ix. The hard conversation starters. You cannot control others' reactions. You can control your opening. Openings shape everything. 3 scripts. With a partner. Can we talk for 10 minutes tonight about something that matters to me? I'm nervous, I'll say it clumsily, so I wrote it down. When specific behavior, I feel 2 words, and I need 1 behavior. Are you willing to try 1 concrete change with me for 2 weeks and then revisit? With a teammate. I want our project to work well, and I don't want small frictions to harden. When the deadline shifted last Friday without heads up, I felt scrambled and a bit dismissed. Next time, can we message in the channel 24 hours before changes? If I miss a message, I'll own it. Can we try that for the next sprint? With a family member. I love you and I want time together to be good. When comments about my weight come up at dinner, I feel defensive and sad. I'm asking that we keep body comments off the table. If it happens, I'll step outside to reset. Are you willing to support that boundary? And you can soften the language to match your culture. Keep the structure. Care event feeling request clear next step, then listen for their needs. Boundaries meet in the middle of a bridge. X. After you shout, what happens next determines whether the relationship grows scar tissue or wisdom. Cool your body, brisk walk, cold water on the face, or 20 wall push-ups. Heat needs an outlet. Write a postcard, not a novel. I'm stepping away to cool down. I care about you. I want to come back when I can speak respectfully. I'll check in 30 minutes. Put it under a door or send it as a text. Repair. Use the 3-sentence apology. Then ask, is there anything you want me to understand about your experience just now? Listen without cross-examining. Reflect later. What was the cue before you shouted? A phrase? A tone? A topic? Where in your body did heat begin? What verb would have helped? Build an if-then plan. If I hear that cue, then I will look at the window and do 2 long exhales before speaking. Growth is not never shouting. It's shouting less often, less loudly, for shorter, and repairing faster. She. The coach in your pocket. A good inner voice is plain, useful, and kind. Write a dozen phrases on a card you can carry. Teach your mouth to say them when things tilt. One thing at a time. Small good now. Make it 80% and move. Ask instead of assume. 2 breaths. Then speak. What's the next true thing? This is intense and survivable. I can act and be afraid. I keep promises to myself. Interruption beats inspiration. Your coach's job isn't to make you special. It's to make you steady. CI. The 5-minute lullaby for the nervous system. At day's end, you need a downward slope. Build a simple landing. Lights. Dim 1 lamp. The body listens to light. List. Write tomorrow's first 3 to-dos on a sticky note. Put it where morning you will see it. Close the loop in your head. Lying down breath. Inhale 4, exhale 8, 5 times. If you can, add legs up the wall for 2 minutes. Language. Whisper 1 gratitude that is specific. The way the rain sounded on the tin roof. How the kid tucked her hair behind her ear. Not everything was good. Something was good. Leave the phone outside the bedroom. If you cannot, put it on airplane mode and set 1 alarm. Loving your future self is emotional control disguised as sleep hygiene. Seer. Working with anxious thoughts. Anxious thoughts present themselves as urgent and useful. Teach your mind to sort them. Ask, is this an alarm? A signal to act? An echo? A memory replaying? Or a hallucination? A prediction stated as fact? If it's an alarm, act small. Send the email, set the appointment, refill the prescription. If it's an echo, comfort, hand on chest. Hi echo. I know that story. We're safe right now. Then shift attention to a sensory task. Wash a dish in hot water. Notice 10 sounds. If it's a hallucination, challenge, add, maybe, in front of the sentence. Maybe I'll fail. Then add, also maybe. Also maybe I'll do okay. Then ask, what's one thing I can do that helps either way? Anxiety is a robber that shrinks rooms. Actions open windows. XIV. Grief doesn't obey clocks. If you're carrying a loss, your nervous system is doing heavy labor. Don't argue with physics. Give grief a container. Appointment, 20 minutes, 3 times a week. To sit with what was lost. Photos, a letter, a playlist. Silence. When the mind cries outside of the appointment, you can say, we will sit together at 7 p.m., Wednesday. Not to postpone forever. To promise presence. Movement. Grief likes to live in the chest and throat. Walk hills. Breathe where it hurts. Companionship. Identify 2 people who can sit with tears without fixing. Tell them the job. Please don't cheer me up. Just be here. This is control that honors love. It never makes grief small. It makes grief bearable. XV. The map of control. Separate the world into 3 circles. Circle of control. Things you can do now with your hands, breath, and words. Circle of influence. Things you can shape over time. Skills, relationships, routines. Circle of concern. Things that matter but you cannot steer the market. The weather, other people's choices. Write the 3 circles on a sheet of paper. Fill them with bullet points for a specific problem. Then, Allocate your next hour entirely to the first circle. When the mind drifts to the third, gently return it like you would a child tugging your sleeve. We'll worry later. We act now. To the repeated of PD hegemony. XVI. Anger is a tool. Use the 3 Ps to keep anger from owning you. Prepare, protect, and place. Prepare. Know your physiological tells heat in the face, fist tightening. Decide a cue. If I feel my fists clench, then I will open my hands and rest them on my thighs. Protect. Name the boundary in verb form. I will protect my time by ending this meeting at the half hour. Anger's power comes from its energy. Turn that energy into protection, not punishment. Place. Put your anger where it can do good. Write a letter to an editor. Make a donation. Volunteer. Vote. Build. Teach. Ruminating is anger's counterfeit productivity. XVI. When depression flattens the world. Depression can make the levers feel far away. If you're in that season, start with microscopic wins. The rule of 3 tenses can help. Past. Text yourself 1 sentence each night. One thing I showed up for today was. Accumulate proof. Present. Keep a tiny visible habit. Open the curtains by 9 a.m. Every day. No heroics. Light helps. Future. Schedule 1 kindness 3 days from now with another human. A walk, a coffee, a video call. The nervous system needs appointments with hope. And if self-harm thoughts visit, you don't need a ritual, you need a person. Call someone. Tell a clinician. Go to an ER. Survival is not an embarrassment. It's a plan. XVI. Microhabits that stick. We fail not because we are weak but because we design changes too large and too vague. Shrink and anchor. If-then plans. If I put my keys down, then I will drink a glass of water. If I sit at my desk, then I will do 2 long exhales. If I open a messaging app, then I will send 1 gratitude before scrolling. Habit pairs. Tie a new habit to an old one. After I brush my teeth, I'll list tomorrow's 3 tasks. Visible cues. Put the yoga mat where you trip on it. Put the apology card in your wallet. Put the repair script on the fridge. Tiny thresholds. I will read 1 page. I will walk 5 minutes. I will write 3 sentences. Starting is everything. Momentum is chemistry. Ix. The conversation with yourself when you're about to quit. You will want to bail on these practices. Your brain will argue, this is silly. It's not working. Real problems can't be breathed away. If I can't do all of it, why do any? You need a counter-argument ready. Say, this is training. Training looks boring and small. It works anyway. Say, control enough. Say, I promised myself I would try for 7 days before judging. Say, I don't need to feel like doing it to do it. Then do the smallest step, in defiance of the brain's theater. XX. Teaching children and your past self. If you have kids or if you're healing the kid inside, you teach these tools as games. Dragon breath. Inhale like smelling soup. Exhale like cooling soup. Name it game. Is this mad, sad, scared, or mixed? Mixed is allowed. Repair ritual. After a fight, 2 sentences and a hug. I got too loud. I'm sorry. I love you. Let's start again. Wiggle and freeze. Shake for 10 seconds. Freeze for 10. Feel your heart slow. Learn that states can change on purpose. Give the child, and yourself, a language you didn't have. Language builds ladders. XXI. On faith as behavior. Not religious faith, though for some it is the same river, but behavioral faith, the choice to act as if a better state is possible because it often is. You do not have to feel hopeful to do hopeful things. You do them because the doing makes hope more likely. You do not have to feel brave to take a brave breath. You take it, and then your body follows a little. 5 minutes later, you take another. XXY. A week of practice. Put this on your calendar. Not as a challenge to impress anyone, but as a rehearsal to equip yourself. Day 1. Monday. 92-second reset. 3 times. Once in calm, twice under stress, if possible. Journal 1 line. What was hardest? What helped? Day 2 Tuesday. Boundary sandwich with 1 micro-boundary. No work messages during lunch. Notice your urge to soften it into vagueness. Keep it clear and kind. Day 3 Wednesday. 3-sentence apology for something small you did today. Practice even if no one asked you to. Build the muscle in peace. Day 4 Thursday. Catastrophe rehearsal on a current worry. Write the, and then what? Chain until it hits manageable steps. Do 1 step. Day 5 Friday. Envy to fuel. Choose 1 person, extract 1 skill, design 1 practice, take 1 action. Day 6 Saturday. Panic field guide rehearsal in a safe place, supermarket aisle. Touch a shelf, widen your gaze, breathe, count colors. Teach your body that public space can be safe. Day 7 Sunday. 5-minute lullaby before bed. Protect sleep like a treasure. Write 3 sentences for the week ahead. 1 promise to yourself. 1 boundary. 1 request you will make. That is a week. It won't make life easy. It will make you equipped. XX Live. The quiet art of letting go. Control often hides inside release. The release of arguing with reality. Of insisting on a timeline. Of wrestling with another person's unwillingness. Letting go is not quitting. It is reassigning energy. Ask, what am I carrying that isn't mine? Place it down. Not because you don't care, but because you care about the things that are yours to carry. Try this phrase. I release what I can't control. I return to what I can. Whisper it when the news scrolls. Whisper it when a loved one chooses a path you wouldn't. Then do something small and kind inside your circle. XXIV. A story of 2 chairs. Nina runs a small design studio. Her temper is quick when deadlines shatter. After 1 painful week, she puts 2 chairs in her office. 1 is labeled feeling. 1 is labeled fixing. When a crisis hits, she sits in feeling for 2 minutes. She breathes long exhales. She labels disappointed, tense. She puts her hand on her belly. When her timer buzzes, she moves to fixing. There, she writes 3 actions. Clarify the scope. Renegotiate the timeline. Help Sam draft the email. She executes the first action and schedules the others. Then she returns to work. 2 chairs. 2 minutes. 2 verbs. Her team starts using the chairs too. It becomes part of the studio's grammar. I'm in feeling now. I'll meet you in fixing at 10:05. The culture shifts. Deadlines still wobble. People break less when they do. XXV. The sentence that saves your future. Choose a sentence to protect your future self in your most dangerous moment. Dangerous doesn't mean dramatic. It means the moment you tend to make choices you regret. If your danger is rage, not like this. Say it before your thumbs type. Say it before your mouth opens. Let the words put a hand on your shoulder. If your danger is despair, I won't decide at midnight. Put big decisions, resignations, breakups, declarations into daylight with food in your stomach. If your danger is avoidance, 5 minutes badly, do it for 5 minutes, poorly, on purpose. If your danger is people-pleasing, I need to check my calendar. Buy time. Freedom hides in the pause. Write your sentence on a card. Put it in your wallet. Train it until it arrives when you do. XXVI. Leadership is nervous system management. If you lead anyone, children, a team, a classroom, your nervous system is the room's thermostat. You will not always be calm. You can be regulating. Begin meetings with 1 breath together. It's not corny, it's chemistry. Name the room's emotion without shame. I sense urgency. We'll move fast and keep it kind. End meetings with clarity. Here's who owns what, by when. Ambiguity is a stressor. Clarity is a sedative. Model repair. When you get sharp, apologize in front of the team. Teach them that strength includes course correction. Protect sleep for your people. Don't send late-night emails unless you add, for tomorrow. Do not normalize martyrdom. Burnout is not a badge. Leadership is contagious regulation. Your steadiness helps others steer. XXVI. When you can't find the lever, sometimes you will forget every tool. You will watch yourself behave in a way you promised not to. The mind will say, see? Nothing works. This is the most important crossroads. Choose humility over humiliation. Humility says, I am not special. I am human. I will begin again. Humiliation says, I am uniquely broken. I should hide. Stand up, even if just inwardly, and whisper, begin again. Return to the smallest lever. Drink water. Exhale. Send 1 repair text. Put your body in sunlight for 3 minutes. Enough. XXVII. The practice of hope. Hope is not a mood. It is a practice of noticing, naming, and taking 1 small step. Try the hope triad each evening. Notice 1 concrete good. Name 1 thing you handled. Next, 1 tiny step for tomorrow that favors your future. Write them in the same notebook. Over time, the notebook becomes a map of your ability to steer, handed back to you by your own hand. XXX. Your second identity sentence. In Chapter 1, we tried on identity sentences. Pick a second one, something small and powerful. I am the kind of person who takes 2 breaths before answering a hard question. Tape it to the inside of a cabinet. Put it on your phone's lock screen. Tell a friend to ask you how it's going in 2 weeks. Identity is not a tattoo. It's a trail you lay with footsteps. XXX. A farewell to the switch. We began with the myth of the switch flip and feel different. The truth is better. You are not a light that toggles. You are a musician tuning, a pilot adjusting trim, a gardener tending soil, a boxer repeating a between-round ritual, a barista lengthening an exhale while pouring. You are a sailor with hands on a wheel that moves in small degrees and matters. Can we willfully control our emotions? Yes, in the only way that endures. By shaping attention, breath, posture, words, and story. By setting boundaries. By repairing. By practicing. By asking for help. By sleeping and feeding and moving the body that houses the mind. By choosing verbs. By seeing envy as a compass and shame as a ladder. By acting when afraid and resting when done. Control enough. Before you close this book, give yourself 1 minute. Name one feeling you've had in the last hour. Exhale twice as long as you inhale. Choose a verb for the next 5 minutes. Act on it. This is the small revolution, a person in an ordinary room making one decision on purpose. The storm will come again. The wheel will still be there. You will know what to do with your hands.